Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And I'm back with part 2 of What If Naruto Was a Bastard with the Red Byakugan, guys. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs over the other channels if you're new. Yes, that's right. I indeed have 3 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check out Anime King, Anime King 3, and Anime Symbol, guys, and become a part of the Anime King family. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin now, guys. So the last part that we left off, we started with Naruto Hyuga trying to end Hayashi Hyuga. However, he was unsuccessful, which led to a very horrendous punishment for him. Hayashi's own father wanted to know, why hasn't he dealt with the boy yet? He was giving him so much chances and that was making him look weak. However, Hayashi circled around saying that the only thing that concerned him right now is his eyes, as Naruto had activated something different. His Byakugan was red. Naruto was no normal child, he was the actual son of Hayashi. Yes, his mother and Hayashi were together in the past, but because of her status with the branch family, they could not be together forever, which led to him marrying Hitomi. There was some unfaithfulness in his marriage, which led to Naruto being conceived, as his mother bear the full weight of being seen as the one that went after him. Hayashi did absolutely nothing made Naruto despise him even more. Time and time again he rebelled, but his mother was the one that suffered for that, so he stopped fighting back just to make sure that she was safe. With that, everything was going well until she got sick, as Hayashi got back with Hitomi and had 2 kids. It was Hinata and Hanabi. It was later in life, now that Naruto was 6 years old, that he found out. Yes, it was then that he found out about his mother's illness. She was actually poisoned, a very specialized plant that would not leave enough symptoms. But he remembered what his mother told him when he was younger, so Naruto lost his cool and attacked Hayashi. For his punishment, Naruto was put through hell for a couple of weeks. When he arrived, he could barely stand, pain coursing through him. But even then, Naruto defied everything. The branch members huddled up as they tried to help him, but he didn't want their help. All they do was sit and conspire, talk, like they could actually make a change, but in reality, they were doing absolutely nothing. But like them, he refused to remain shackled. He will find a way to break these restraints, and he will fly free like a bird, and he was already one step closer. Neji, a friend of his. He was different than the other branch members. Like Naruto, he truly understands the pain of what the main family has done to you. That was because Neji lost his father due to a switch between the clan, which sent Hisashi, Neji's father, towards Kumo instead of Hayashi. Since then, Neji has resented and hated all of them. However, someone came to train Naruto, a man that believed that he was a rightful owner to be the leader of the clan. He spent the next couple of months trying to understand the Red Byakugan. There were some signs of something like this in the past, but there wasn't much that they could get a concrete evidence on. Unfortunately though, the abilities were proven to be rather greater than they could ever expect. They did not want a member within the branch family to ever acquire power like that. Not to mention with Naruto doing so much, blatantly trying to kill Hayashi, they decided that they would stop his progress by removing his teacher. There was no way that he could possibly learn all of this on his own. Unfortunately, despite his teacher being a main member, he had not told them that Naruto was a quick study, a quick learn. The boy was a prodigy. For what reasons? Well, that was not revealed just yet. So Naruto was on his own, as he had to learn how to control the eyes on his own. He went to the academy, as he didn't really make much friends, because he was just focused on training, on getting better, as Red Byakugan provided a lot of different insight that was much greater than the normal Byakugan. On one of his training sessions where he had to move after a team had been graduated, Naruto was surprised to see a girl from his class. There wasn't much that he knew about her. Her name was Mito Uzumaki, and she stated herself she wasn't that much talkative. However, Naruto ended up meeting her, and it sparked something quick between them, which made the both of them practice with one another. Naruto had seen a strange, great amount of chakra inside of her that actually frightened him, which he would like to know at what exactly that was. But it wasn't something that she was going to tell him. However, she was much greater than he originally thought. Stronger, faster. Hinata was observing all of that, believing that Naruto hated her, given what their father has put him through. He was her brother after all, so yes, that was very hard for her. However, as she made her way home that day, she didn't expect Naruto to meet her there. And for the first time in a long while, he was here to talk to her, and she feared the worst. So yeah guys, basically let's play it off you guys can. Switch across the playstick of yourself, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs. I'll be leaving all of the links down in the description for the other channels. I'll see you guys over there. Let's begin this now guys. We begin this episode in the past with a young girl, bright red hair, blue eyes. Her name was Mito Uzumaki. Since she was 4 years old, things had never truly been mundane for her. The other kids were treated differently. At first, she tried to find a solution for this, tried to find the cause of this problem, but she could never find the cause of the problem. She thought that it was her hair, her bright red hair. She's not seen anyone else that possessed hair like this within the village. Perhaps that made her stand out. Perhaps that made her a pariah. However, there was different color hairs in the village. So why that? Was that the reason why the adults looked at her that way? They looked afraid, worried, and also disconcerting. It started from the orphanage when she was 4. The matron there barely paid attention to her. Luckily though, she met someone, the actual leader of this village. His name was Hiruzen Sarutobi. She met him when she went fishing one day. Due to the isolation, she had to learn things on her own. She became self-reliant, having to know things, having to gain knowledge that others simply didn't want to teach her. But she met the Hokage though, and he was different. He was nice. He didn't see her as the others saw her. Soon enough, she got an apartment. She had to live alone. He came by with a monthly stipend for her. She always tried to get answers. She liked to know things, her life, parents. However, he could never give her the true answers. There was 2 roads that she could take. Perhaps going out and doing things for attention. Perhaps starting trouble. However, she decided to take the other road. If they did not want to forcefully socialize themselves with her, She wouldn't try to put it in their face. So she blended into the background as she realized that if she remained the way that she was, things would never get better. So secretly she started to train. This was before the academy. However, she lacked the necessary access to gain information. While she could go to the library, most of the ninja section was restricted. So she took to the beginner's book as she studied them from front to back, learning how to understand more going along the way as well. She spied on different ninjas. Some of the ninjas did not seem to care as she watched them train. There were some that were trained in genins, the first level of becoming a ninja. She saw fighting styles. She saw things. Unknowingly, at the time she did not know, but she could feel that strange energy coursing through them. It was their chakra. She soon come to find out that she was a sensor. However, she seemed to be able to do both. She could sense people around her, but she could also place her hand down, a touch sensor as well, amplifying her radius. She used that to study the chakra fluctuation that they use when they fight, when they did all sorts of things. She even used it within the class as well, to see Iruka perform the transformation jutsu. That is when she realized that she was releasing too much chakra. So she had to find a way to minimize that chakra release. She found the beginner chakra training book within the library. However, someone seemed to have it first as they left notes behind in it. It was her lucky break. She spent the next couple of years training how to properly control her chakra. She never really took an interest in the academy, never truly showing off her skills, what she's learned. So she simply went into secrecy, training and getting better. She still truly don't know why the people treated her differently. However, her being a censor brought up some new avenues. Whenever she tried to do the same thing that she did to others on herself, there was a strange energy that she felt. She wasn't sure what it was. However, it was new and recent that she started to pick up on it. And she was very headstrong to find out exactly what it was. And that is why she was here today. She was alone in the training field. However, she heard something as she turned. She blinked when she saw him. She knew that boy. She remembered him. He did not arrive the first day, but the second. And she saw something strange. They call him a Hyuga, but unlike the others, his eyes did not look like them. She's seen those members before. Hinata Hyuga was one of them. She wondered if they were related. Perhaps they just came from the same clan. However, his eyes did not look like theirs, and he had white hair. She's not seen one with white hair before. Perhaps he was different, special. However, she did notice something the first day she met him. His eyes. His eyes did not look like the other children in the class, that were filled with nothing but the joys of everything around them. His eyes were focused, determined, headstrong. She knew that look rather well, because it was something that she saw every morning in the mirror. So that one intrigued her. However, she had a rather hard time making friends. Perhaps it's the way the other girls go about things. None of them seem to be truly invested in training to become good kunoichis. It made her question if a girl could actually be good at what the others do. However, she read about a woman known as Nade Senju. She is said to be the strongest person in the entire world. Many claim that statement was truthful, and they did not say strongest woman. So she refused to believe that just because she was a girl, she was determined to stay weak. So that is why she did not socialize much with the others. Not to say that she did not talk to them, but they weren't exactly that close. They weren't going to go to each other's houses after school come to an end, but she did speak to them once in a while. Him on the other hand, he was different. and she got to know him through trading blows. Since she started to take her training seriously, he was the first person that she actually showed. Not even the Hokage that she was stronger than. She really was. And he was hiding a lot as well. She also figured there was more to unravel there. Perhaps they could help each other gain more strength. Back to the original time, Hinata Hyuga was currently frozen in her path. She was afraid. Throughout her entire life, she's only spoke to him at least 3 times. Her father was adamant on not spending time with him. But he was her brother. Many doesn't know that. It was a secret that none of them could say outside of the clan. He was her brother though. She wanted to get to know him. She hated the way the others treated him. She hated the way they said things behind his back and sometimes to his face as well. However, she lacked the necessary power to do something about it. But he did not deserve that treatment. None of the branch members did, but there was nothing that she could do about it. She heard about the punishment, and it felt like she was feeling pain in her heart when she heard the members laugh about it, saying that he deserved it. But he attacked their father. She didn't know why. However, she knew deep down that she knew. Her father was hard on her, extremely so. So she could only imagine how much more harder he was on Naruto, especially sometimes when she wasn't there. After all, it was common that they treated him a lot worse than most people. She knew something happened between his mother and her father, but that doesn't mean that they weren't still blood, that they weren't still related. She knew that he despised her, that he hated her, because she didn't have to suffer the way he did. She supposed she deserved his hate, although she hasn't done anything to receive that hate. But she just felt bad, and she was too kind, too sweet for all of this. So as he stepped towards her, she expected that he was going to hit her or something. As she prepared herself, she closed her eyes. However, it wasn't what she was expecting. As he rested his hand on her head, Hinata slowly opened her eyes, clear confusion on her face. Naruto was calm as he looked at her. He did not smile, his face was simply neutral. However, he wasn't angry either. He was just calm. You have nothing to fear from me, despite how things might look. I don't hate you, he said. And I never will, despite how tangled you might seem in all of this. You've done nothing wrong to receive my wrath. Absolutely nothing. You and your sister are just here, just as I am, and I have no problem with either of you. So you don't have to worry about me ever hurting you, he said to her. You're my sister after all. Hinata was shocked, taken aback. I don't understand. After everything father has done, you should hate me, she said. She started to cry, not understanding how. He did not hate her as well. It was what she thought for most of her life. But hearing that from him, it brought up so much emotion as she started to cry. She didn't know what got into her as she hugged him. And he did not push her off or anything. He simply placed one arm around her. It's alright. As I said, there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't matter how things might look. You're my sister, and you've done nothing wrong. Naruto was being truthful in his statement. As stated before, he just never really hated Hinata. Her life was similar to his in a way. However, while his might be much harsher, hers were predestined. After all, they believed that she was the next heir of the clan. And because of her personality, her willingness to not go through with certain things, They say such horrible things despite her being a main member, and that came from other main members. Naruto saw her crying on multiple occasions, and all he wanted to do was tell her that it was going to be okay. So no, he didn't hate her. Hinata separated as he brought his hand up and wiped her tears away. However, given their position, as the main members were heading down this path, Naruto whispered something to her. She looked up, surprised to what he said. He said something once again before he turned his back and walked off, leaving Hinata there, as she was greeted by the others. One of them looking her way, not seemingly rather pleased by her, whole personality overall. That was just how they were. They were ready to be harsh, unkind even to their own just because she lacked the necessary fortitude to go through with things. However, she did not pay them any mind, as she was simply observing him making his way off. Time skip. Hyuga walked, making his way to a comfortable position as he gazed downwards. It was rather early in the morning as he watched Hyuga jogging. Confusion set in. For the past few days she has been acting strange, different than her normal self. After jogging for a long while, she started to practice her Byakugan stance. As he raised her eyebrow, wondering exactly what has gotten into her, has she finally realized that his teaching was right and that she should fall in line. Down below, as Hinata was striking the pose, it kept her going what he said to her. Flashback. As the main members were coming, Naruto whispered, "They might not believe in you." As he paused, "But I do," he said. "I know you can do it." Those simple words, as simple as they are, stir something inside of her. Back to the original time. Everyone else expected her to be great because of the line that she originated from. They expected her to be some kind of prodigy. They expected her to learn everything quickly. Despite taking the time, they never truly take the time. Confusing, but yes. But Naruto, on the other hand, he said the one thing that she's been looking for the longest time now. It was simple. He believed in her. He knew that she can do it. The encouragement, his words kept her going. And they were helping her push to a different height, far above what she was right now. Neji had witnessed this training as well. However, he simply looked down towards her with nothing but disdain, as Naruto watched from afar, happy to see her progress. Time skip. The few remaining years left went by rather quickly. Throughout those time, a lot happened. Hinata kept on growing splendidly. As for Mito and Naruto, the both of them became better friends, learning as they go along. Mito lacked the necessary equipment to help her reach new heights. However, being a part of the clan that mainly focused on chakra control, Naruto brought her things. More advanced training to exercise and properly control your chakra. It was doing so that Mito found out something truly amazing about herself. Flashback. Naruto stood there watching her. They had yet to speak about what was inside of her. Because of his unique eyes, he could see it, but he doubted that she could. However, she had reached level 3 with her chakra control, having completed the other 2. She was trying to stabilize her chakra, to give full life to it, to truly formulate her chakra to bring it out to the surface. This was incredibly difficult for someone that wasn't from the Hyuga descent, that directly focused on manipulating the chakra from their points all over their body. So yes, it was hard. However, Mito felt a tingle in her back where she focused it instead of her hands. She heard Naruto, as he was rather surprised as she opened her eyes. What's wrong? She turned her gaze when she saw something move at the side of her face. It was a tiny, golden chain that came from her back. At first she thought that someone was behind her, but soon realized that it was her doing this. She could control it, but not that much, but still, she could control it. Naruto's eyes activated, and he saw the connection. The chain was a manifestation of her own chakra, as she solidified it, creating a solid object. Now that was truly impressive, given her lack of control despite completing the other two. The amount of chakra that she had that was much greater than his was so difficult to control. This should be impossible. That is when Naruto realized that this wasn't just a mere extension of her chakra. It was some kind of bloodline limit, a Kekigenkai, one that he's never truly seen before, much too small to cause any true damage or protect anyone, but with training and with help. As Mito jumped to her feet, excited about finding out something new about herself, and after Naruto told her that they will find out even more, she hugged him. Overjoyed, she hugged him, immediately backing away though, feeling a bit embarrassed for, behaving that way. However, he didn't seem to have a problem with it. However, her reaction and his reaction were completely different. You could barely tell sometime what he was thinking, given how stoic he was. However, Naruto Byakugan was coming along nicely as well, as he could literally feel the happiness radiating off of her. But that was simply one of the aspects of the Red Byakugan. In the flashback, throughout that time they trained a lot together. Others seen them hanging out together in class. Rumors started to form, but they paid them no mind, as the finals was finally coming around. Time skip. She was afraid. She was scared. She hid behind the tree, clutching onto the massive scroll. How could things turn so horrible so quickly? Mito. She found something about herself. A couple weeks ago, there was a seal on her stomach. She could barely get information on Fuinjutsu. She has not asked anyone yet. It made her think back to everything that she's been through. It made her believe that she was some kind of monster. She has been denying spending much time with Naruto because she knew that he would figure out rather well. Over the years, he've come to know her, understand her, and she doesn't want him to pull this out of her because she was afraid of what he might see. She was afraid. She didn't want to know, but at the same time she wanted to know, why was there a seal on her stomach? Finally, reaching a level in level 3 training to control her chakra, she was able to send chakra throughout her entire body, focus it in different areas, and her stomach revealed something. It was hard, but it did show itself. It was like first unlocking something, but now she was able to bring it up rather easily. There was a seal on her stomach. She didn't know that much about Fuinjutsu to make a guess, but she knew there was something there. She's been stressing about it. In 3 days was graduation tests. As she left her house that night to go to the woods to train, trying to clear her mind because she could not sleep. Unfortunately for her, Mizuki had no other choice but to go for the scroll now. He wanted to wait until after graduation. Perhaps to wait until much more interest was focused on something else, but the time frame was not matching up. He just returned from burying the body of the one that he tricked to help him. The one that worked within that area that he's befriended for the past few years now. His plan had been a rather long con. It was after the Sannin came to him, promising him great power, promising him to make him his number 2. And he promised great power and money and wealth, everything, to a man known as Toji. But all the man got was death by Mizuki's hands. Nothing would stop him now, nothing will get in his way. He hid the scroll within, a shed within the forest, not expecting anyone to be out here this time of night, as he had no idea that Mito would be there. The girl came across the shed. She had been here before on several occasions, but something looked different, so she decided to investigate. She found the scroll. Unraveling it, she was shocked and surprised. She'd seen this before. It belonged to the Hokage. She decided to peek inside of it to sway her curiosity. In the process, she ended up learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu. She also found herself trying to memorize a few others as well. Unfortunately, Mizuki was back from trying to frame Toji. When he saw her, she jumped through the window, which led to a battle between the two. However, Iruka, who had went on the hunt as well, as he knew Toji rather well, he came across a situation which led to a battle breaking out even more, with him using the chance to tell her about what she was, to make her fall and drop the scroll, to make her mind so weak that she wouldn't be able to run anymore. She felt depressed, she felt sad, now knowing why they all looked at her that way. To know the truth, not to mention the way Mizuki was saying it. However, in that moment she clung on to Iruka's words. He's been watching her, seeing her growth, seeing her despite all the struggles, always remain solid. And he said that he had no doubt in his mind that she was going to be a fantastic Kunoichi, maybe the greatest the world has ever seen. She stepped out of where she was done hiding. Mizuki got the crap beaten out of him by the numerous clones that she was able to summon. Time skip. Both Naruto and Neji were going at it. Neji was already a ninja. He told Naruto about some of his missions, his teammates, his sensei. At the moment, both boys were going at it, despite being older, despite having more access to learn more. When their palms clashed together, releasing a terrible amount of chakra as they violently slammed against one another. The both of them seemed to be equal, their Byakugan also blazing as well. The match was really intense. For two boys sparring together, it was brutal, as marks start to appear on Neji's arm. Same for Naruto as well. They clashed against each other, releasing more chakra as they move. Their moves, fixed with speed as they push off the ground, clashing in mid-air before coming down, until Neji delivered a brutal strike to Naruto's shoulders that sent him back. Naruto hunched over as Neji moved forward to end the match. Not to kill him of course, but to just defeat him. However, Naruto weaved out of the way. He took Neji's feet from underneath him and sent him into the sky. Neji was surprised by that. It was a feint. Naruto was perfectly fine. How was he able to restore his points so quickly? Neji was sure that his timing wasn't off. However, Naruto bested him once again by appearing in mid-air. Neji crossed his arm as Naruto released a violent downpour. For a moment there he thought it was the 64 palms, as he tried to block but a few got through. Boom! He crashed down into the ground. As Naruto jumped away, his Byakugan pulsating, looking down at the down Neji. However, Neji got to his feet. He didn't want to give up. He refused to give up. That was his arrogance coming out right now. But Naruto was back in his stance. And then he slipped into something else. Something that Neji wasn't familiar with. Naruto clenched his fists, confusing Neji even more. He turned his hand downwards, so the knuckle was pointing down. Deciding that he had enough, Neji engaged once again, trying to block out the pain that he was feeling, but The first palm that he threw, Naruto hit it with his knuckle, cancelling out all the force. Neji, on the other hand, felt something like there was a static shock that ran through his palm up to his shoulder. He pulled back only for Naruto to slam both of the knuckles right into his stomach. He felt a deep burning sensation this time, causing him to step back. He tried to twist and move in. However, the chakra in his strike dissipated. As his hand jabbed Naruto, but there was nothing there, causing Naruto to slam right into his stomach even more, with both palms outwards, throwing him back. Neji crashed down to the ground, in more pain than ever before, as Naruto stepped towards him, looking down towards him before extending a hand. Neji took it, getting to his feet feeling sore. "What did you do to me?" he said, wanting answers to what the hell just happened. As he fully got to his feet, "Did your chakra return in a matter of seconds?" Naruto said. "Yes, why?" "I'm working on something. Something I'm not yet ready to reveal." "It has to do with those eyes of yours," Neji said. Naruto nodded his head. "What about that style?" "Don't you think that the Hyuga style is outdated?" Naruto said. "Outdated? It's a tradition." "Yes, something that is in our clan. Something that keeps us bound together," Naruto said. "I told you this before, that I will break all limitations that are set on me. And that's a promise." "I'll be going now," he said. "There's something I have to do." Making his way off as Neji watched him leave, wondering exactly what Naruto did. Naruto gazed upwards as he reached down the slope. Standing up there was Satoru, his former teacher, watching him. The man almost seemed proud as he mouthed the words. "Interesting," he said. Naruto did not say nothing, he just kept on walking. Time skip. Finally arriving back to the academy, Iruka was not going to be here today. He was at the hospital, but he would make a speedy recovery. However, she was stopped by Naruto, waiting for her. "You're avoiding me," he said. That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. "Did I do something to offend you?" he said to her. Mito has been through a lot in a couple of hours. So much. As she gazed towards him, knowing that perhaps the truth would come out sooner or later, and things would just get much worse if they continued this friendship. If he did not know and didn't want to be her friend anymore. Remembering what the Hokage had said, her conversation with him about that she was not the Nine-Tails fox, but the fox was simply sealed inside of her. She also came to that same assessment. "Let's talk," she said. He looked towards her as she started to walk away. "Let's just skip school for today. I mean, we're going to graduate soon enough." With that, the both of them made their way to their training spot. "What is it that you want to tell me?" said Naruto. Figuring that it was something big, she proceeded to lift her shirt. His expression did not change as he watched her, as she showed him the seal on her stomach. "This is a very powerful seal. 12 years ago, the fourth Hokage sealed the Nine-Tails away. He was unable to kill the beast. He sealed it into a child on October 10th. She said, looking away. "I see. So he sealed the Nine-Tails inside of you?" Naruto said, stepping towards her. "How did you find out?" "Well, Mizuki's a traitor," she said, her voice taking on a bitter humor tone. "Turns out that majority of the adults know about it. That's why they act the way they do. I know that you know. I know that you see the way they look when they see me. But you avoid the subject every single time. You knew something before this, correct? I saw the chakra the first day we met. How? She said. You've seen my eyes with yours already. They're not the standard Byakugan, said Naruto. However, I wasn't sure what it was. But now I fully know, he said. So, what happened to Mizuki? She was confused by him changing. The subject is something else. Did he just didn't want to talk about it? He's probably secured somewhere in jail. And what about you? Naruto said. I'm fine. I had a conversation with the Hokage and Iruka. Turns out that he's been watching me more than I thought. He's a really good teacher, she said. How do you feel about this? What do you mean, said Naruto. I don't understand your question. He said, looking at her. I mean, about me having this. She said, looking rather nervous. This was the first that he saw her look this way. Well, other than the time when she hugged him. There is a lot of horrible people in this world. People that I want to hurt with my bare hands, Naruto said. As he spoke, she saw a different look in his eyes. And there are people like you. People that are different. People that don't deserve what they're going through. Well, for one thing, I think the fourth Hokage can go and screw himself. Mito blinked hearing that. For putting you through what he put you through. And then died. Without leaving behind any explanation. And the Hokage for not telling you about this burden from the beginning. Many will try to crucify me for my claims or my beliefs. However, some of these leaders that believe that keeping away the secret, keeping away truth, is the right thing to do. It's just plain stupid and dumb, said Naruto. As he stepped towards her, these people within this village should be grateful because if it wasn't for you, all of them would be dead. If you're holding back that beast, that means constantly your body is being used as a sacrifice. A human sacrifice. And yet, they pretend like you're the problem. But in truth, they're the problem, said Naruto. But as I said, people like you are different. And you're my friend. I only have a few of those. Well, one other to be quite exact. He did not count Hinata or Hanabi as friends. And that wasn't a bad thing because they were his sisters. Something closer than friendship. Yes. However, Naruto looked at Mito confused when he saw the tears. He had no idea just how much his words impacted her. Just how much his words made her happy in that moment. As she had been really hoping that he didn't see her differently, but he just made her day. Once again, she hugged him. Something that wasn't very common with her, as it was hard for her to express emotions, given how everything was around her. But Naruto did not seem to mind it, neither did she. Time skip. Iruka was back for the finale, the final day. He checked up on Mito to make sure that everything was alright. However, the test, it was really simple, really easy. Time skip. As Kyo arrived to see Naruto speaking with Hinata, he was her guardian, there to bring her home and bring her to school. She was the heiress. He had been there for her life, watching over her, in case any danger might rear their head. So despite her father being fully alive, he was there to watch over her. Kyo didn't seem to care much about Naruto in that regard, believing that he did not deserve half of the things that he's been through. However, there wasn't much that he could do about this. While Kyo was a part of the main house, he was treated like a servant in a way as well. However, he was supposed to see it as a privilege to watch over the heiress, the future of the clan. But to be quite truthful, he didn't have a problem with it, because Hinata was a good special girl. So yes, he had no problem with it. Hinata made her way over towards him, seeming much happy. Much happier than, even after graduating. Kyo had noticed that simply being around him made her better, made her happier. They were a family after all. With that, he made his way off with her by his side. As Naruto and Mito headed off, both of them didn't really have family to cheer them on for their promotion. Then again, Naruto did have a father, but that was something that not even Mito knew about, because Naruto did not see Hayashi as a father. Both of his parents were dead. That is how he saw it. So they toasted each other graduation. Time skip. A lot happened in a short amount of time. At the moment we find Naruto standing in front of Kakashi Hatake. In the bushes were Mito and Sasuke. Team 7, thus the name stand for. This was their test to see if they could make it. He had to say he was looking forward to being on a team with either Mito or Hinata, so he wasn't too upset about the pick. Him and the Uchiha never truly got along. Well, they weren't friends, they didn't talk that much, due to Naruto not showing exactly what he could do. Sasuke tended to underestimate him, believing that he was the best in the class, and given the knack that the Hyugas are known for, Sasuke believed that he was so much more superior. Then again, if it truly came down to it, Naruto would drop him in hand-to-hand combat without hesitation. At the moment though, as Kakashi told them to come at him with the intent to kill, Naruto's mind was not focused on the bell test. His mind wasn't focused on anything of the sorts. He just wanted a test. This was the opportunity that he was looking for. While Neji was strong, he wasn't this strong, and this would give him an insight on his strength, to see how much he has grown, all the grueling years since he was 6, constantly pushing himself again and again. Finally, he will be able to know just how he stacks up against someone like the copy ninja. Hearing the name of the man that was going to be sensei, Naruto was rather surprised to hear it, as he was a very insightful young man who liked to know his surroundings and what was going on around him. When he found out that he was going to be on a 3-man team, he studied the amount of jonins that would possibly be there to be his teacher. However, he had to say, their team was simply fit for full-on assault. They specialized in that area, each and every one of them. Then again, Hinata team seemed to be fit for a tracking team only. And the Inoshika Cho, he supposed they were going after their parents. As he stood in front of Kakashi, who had his book in his hand. However, he had a keen eye on Naruto, knowing not to take him lightly. The boy was a Hyuga after all. Much wasn't said about him, but Kakashi saw something different. As Naruto's stance was firm, his foot placement, everything, Kakashi simply eye-smiled at him. Naruto dashed forward. However, before he reached the copy ninja, the man appeared behind him, only for Naruto to weave under his grab, causing Kakashi to smile under his mask at the quick reaction time, lashing out with a brutal palm. The copy ninja jumped back. It doesn't matter how strong you were. With an expert Hyuga hitting the right points, anyone could be taken down. The copy ninja started to weave and backpedal, watching his foot place so that he wouldn't mess up. As Naruto kept on striking at him, he was using the height advantage to get over Naruto, but Naruto was relentless. The copy ninja saw his eyes as he activated mid-battle. He jumped away, truly surprised by what he was witnessing, as Naruto did not make it a show to make people know about his eyes. So yes, Kakashi was surprised. That was one of the things that the copy ninja was rather curious about. This boy didn't have the standard look of the Hyuga. At first he thought that he might be adopted, but knowing the Hyuga clan, he doubted they would do something like that. They would probably say that it was tainting their bloodline. But the boy was odd though. The eyes were not the same and neither was the hair as well. Perhaps he was a special oddity. Well, that was what the Hokage said when he was talking about him with the team. Kakashi saw the red Byakugan though and wondered what was the difference between the standard and these crimson one, as he kept on backpedaling, trying to get out of Naruta's grasp. But Naruto's blows were constantly coming towards him. For one, the boy had amazing stamina, he had to give him that. But Kakashi wasn't an expert jonin for no reason. Naruto hit him as the man swapped places. The board that he swapped places with, as Naruto hit it in the center of his hand, broke through it, showing how much force he was driving with. Kakashi watched from the trees, rather intrigued. A Hyuga didn't hit so hard usually. It was more to incapacitate you by using their chakra to block your points. Kakashi's focus went down towards the burned board. Wait, burn? Yes, the inside where Naruto struck. There was a straight burned path. Now what is that, he wondered to himself. Could the boy have caused that? Kakashi watches his gaze turn towards him, despite not fully seeing him. Well, he shouldn't be surprised. He was dealing with a Byakugan after all. The copy ninja watches Naruto swirl. 8 tetragrams, Naruto said. Empty ear palm. He thrust his hand out. A violent upturn of chakra ripped through the trees, going straight towards the copy ninja, forcing him to jump out and flip as he landed on the ground. Kakashi's one eye was open wide in shock. He knows that Hyugas genuinely evolve a lot quicker than others due to their unique eyes and how their body is structured. However, to release such a confined, precise burst of chakra, that was truly incredible. He said as he looked over to see Naruto thrust his hand out once again, jumping away as Naruto dashed towards him and threw his palm open. The copy ninja weaved underneath it and immediately aimed for Naruto's left shoulder, trying to stop him from using it. However, something abnormal happened in that brief moment. The copy ninja started to see red from both eyes, despite the other being covered. He immediately jumped away, wondering what the hell was that. As his vision returned back to normal, he saw Naruto collapse down to one knee, taking very deep breaths. Damn it, Naruto whispered to himself, having failed to do what he tried to do. He slowly got back to his feet, brushing himself off, as he started to walk away. Giving up, Kakashi asked, truly alarmed by what just happened a moment ago. What was strong enough to affect not just his regular sight but the Sharingan as well. That red, that crimson eye of his was truly unique, as he's never seen a Byakugan like that before. There is no point, Naruto said, walking away. Confused in the copy ninjas, he wondered if he was giving up with the whole thing. But that wasn't what Naruto meant, as he took to the trees, already knowing where the both of them were. Making his way. Time skip. Kakashi stood within the office. As he was the last one to get here, the other teams already reporting back in. Team 7 successfully passed. Harrison was glad to hear that, but something was on the man's mind. Is there something else you'd like to say? It's about Naruto Hyuga. You said that he was different from the others. Is this tied into his red Byakugan? Ah, yes. I'm aware of that. The information is only known by a few though. Hiruzen said, it is something that has never been seen before. Perhaps the boy is truly an anomaly. Is there something that weigh your interest more than just seeing it. When we were fighting today, in the test, he did something. I think he's working on something big. The boy is young and yet, he seemed to have knowledge and experience that he shouldn't possess. Not just yet. I know that Hyugas tend to grow faster than normal children, but his skills are unique. I'm almost afraid that I won't be a proper teacher for him to specially train him in that area. Hiruzen released a breath. There's a lot that you don't know, Kakashi. A lot that not even I should know, Hiruzen said. But you know about how the branch family is treated within the Hyuga compound. That headband on his head. It is covering where the cloth used to be that hides. That bird seal that captivate each branch member. Naruto life isn't well, it hasn't been a good one. He told you this, Kakashi said. No, he hasn't. You know how secretive the Hyugas are. But there are some members that are willing to talk on the behalf of some other members. And Naruto is not treated favorably. You should know that they tend to ostracize those that does not fit in. But the crimson eyes of his is something unique, something special. Most times that doesn't really matter to them. However, I'm afraid that you're his last hope in terms of teaching with Genins and Jonins. After all of the others have their team now. And they've passed them. The others, I don't think that they're fit, except for a select few that would be able to properly handle his talents. It's not about you helping him understand what his eyes can do. I have faith that the boy already knows a lot about what his eyes can do. Kakashi was curious and he voiced his curiosity. How did the Hokage know this? As the man told him that both Mito and Naruto were close friends. Very close friends. And they trained together a lot. That was enough said as Kakashi understood. So it wasn't for him to try and help Naruto with his Crimson Byakugan, as he believed that Naruto already had that under control. He was just supposed to be there as a guide, teach him what he could and help him where he can. There was a lot that Hiruzen doesn't know, but he knows that Naruto life hasn't been that wonderful. But there were some secrets that were not let out of the clan. He nodded, understanding the situation. However, he had to say, the boy was truly smart. When Naruto said that there was no point, it was because he knew the tests. He got the other two to cooperate with him. Given Sasuke being, well, arrogant, Kakashi could see that from the moment that they met, and not to mention his file. To get him to easily cooperate with him that way, he must truly had his head in the game. Well then, it was up to him. He has 3 special members. The last Uchiha within the village. Mito was. She had so many specialties about her. Not to mention one of them that was revealed today. And he has a Hyuga that also seemed to be another prodigy from the clan. There were already talks of another young one that recently, well, a few months ago, became a ninja that was already showing the signs of taking on such title. Perhaps there was more than one, and it was up to him to nurture and ensure that he brought out the best of their abilities. Time skip. The rain was pouring down. Despite that though, despite being soaked from head to toe, we find Naruto. He was taking deep breaths, exhausted, worn out, but yet he still stand. His legs were shaking slightly. He was disappointed, greatly so. His battle with Kakashi might not have lasted long. However, seeing the man's speed and strength made Naruto realize just how much he was lacking, not having the necessary tutelage. After all, since he stopped getting the desired help from Satoru, there has been no one else. While him and Mito trained together, there were certain aspects that, at their age, they simply could not grasp. Even as smart and as genius Naruto was, certain things were restricted to him. Yes, he could not gain special information on the Hyuga style. There were things that they didn't want the branch members to know. However, Naruto was much too smart to be bound by simpler rules. But then again, there was no one there to teach him. So it was all of his strength, all of his own guidance up till now. But he just learned that people like Kakashi Hatake outscale him so much. And that made him feel disappointed in his strength. While he could perhaps defeat all of the Genins, and even most of the Chunins, higher level Chunins and Jonins were on a different level. Then again, Kakashi Hatake was a very special individual. He needed to get stronger. It was the only way that he can break these limitations, break these chains. As he stood there in the pouring rain, all of his efforts that he's been trying to manifestate the true potential of these eyes. Today he tried something but he failed. As Naruto reached out and struck the tree, he heard the sound. As he watched as the thing fell off, the entire inside of the tree was burnt. The outside was completely fine, but the inside was burned really badly. A small smile crept up on Naruto's face. He collapsed face first into the ground. He immediately passed out. When Naruto came to, he wasn't sure where he was. Everything felt so odd. Everything felt so strange. His vision was blurry. Everything was so abnormal. However, he did see someone, but he could not make out their face. But as they gazed back at him, he saw their eyes, only for him to wake up, quickly pulling himself out of the damp ground. As he flipped over on his back, "What the hell was that?" he said. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.